Hello everyone. In this video, I will try to explain how to create walls, what to do or what not to do. In making of articles or tutorial videos, probably you have seen some of these methods before. If you are working for someone with feedbacks and changes, some of those methods might not be ideal, so let's have a look. Here I have a floor plan. I have already scaled it to correct dimensions so we can dive right into building walls. One of the first methods is to cover the floor plan with a plane, then cutting and deleting some faces, leaving wall lines behind. Okay, now I will place a plane here, just to cover some part of the floor plan, then we can connect some edges, then we can delete the middle face, just to leave wall lines behind, as I said before. By the way, I will put the floor plan to -100 just to get rid of these artifacts, and it's not important where it's on z-axis as we will work on top view anyways. And now we can delete some faces and maybe connect some more edges and delete the remaining faces just to be a bit more accurate. And now I can add a shell modifier on top. Let's say 300 as our height. And here we have some clean topology, quad faces, and nice looking walls. It might be clean, but this is definitely not the fastest way. A faster way might be just to start with wall lines instead of covering the whole floor plan with a plane, then removing some parts of it. We can just create a plane with the wall thickness, then we can start copying the edge or extruding the edge along the walls and just doing it until we cover all the wall lines on our floor plan. With this method, as you can see, while creating the base for my walls, I can also create the base for the windows and doors and other details on the walls, so it's kind of time saving compared to the previous method. And now I can add a shell modifier on top just to create the height, then I can detail and create the gaps for windows and doors. By the way, just to demonstrate, you can actually create your openings as you go. Like let's say this is a full window, so I can just delete that face, apply the shell again, then connect the edges, bridge the faces, and create my openings this way easily and pretty fast. Let's say it's 240. And bridge the faces, and now we have a window. And let's add an edge here to create windows, bridge, and we have the window opening. This is the correct way, and this will always give good results, but this is still not the fastest way. And let me show how can you do it just a bit faster. So, just because I'm working in interiors and my camera will be in interiors, I don't need the wall thickness actually. You might need wall thickness in certain type of renderings, but in this case, if our main objective is to make an interior image, we don't need interior walls, and what I'm gonna do is just to put a spline and just try to create faces based on that spline. Easy and fast. I'm gonna start with this corner, and by holding shift I will start creating some vertices and following along the lines on the floor plan. Now what you can do is to add an extrude modifier on top and let's say 300 again, and you can disable cap start and cap end just to empty out bottom and top parts. But what I like to do here, as I'm gonna do it anyways, I put an edit poly on top, then delete bottom and top faces. And the most important thing you should pay attention to here is face normals. Dark red means back face and bright red means front face. As we will be rendering interiors, we want bright reds on the inside. Select all faces and click flip and bright reds looking inside, and that's it. Now just like before, I can collect all the edges with ring, then I can just let's say 240 as before, and now I have the top line for my windows. And let's say for doors are usually 210, 220, let's say 210 for this time. And now we have the top line for doors. And also here's a kitchen, and for kitchen I imagine there's a wall under the window, so let's say 90 for that. And now we are ready to delete the faces to create the gaps or openings for our windows and doors. You can just activate extrude and you can extrude like this, but if you want to be a bit more precise, you can just open the extrude settings window and go to top view, then you can just give the dimensions like this and it looks pretty accurate. Just to do some cleanup, I will just delete the bottom faces. Now we have all the walls that we need, and it's easily editable if we need to. However, there's some important issue that we need to pay attention to. Just like we did here, if you have chamfers, you might come across this issue, but even if you don't have chamfers, you still see some problems. And that is, you will see some light leaks around the edges. And it's easy to fix actually. You can just add a shell modifier on top, give some thickness to walls, it doesn't matter how much, but if the walls have a bit more thickness, you will solve the problem perfectly. Obviously, you will see some smoothing issues with the shell modifier, but it's pretty easy to fix. And you will not see these shading issues, smoothing issues, that dark areas in your output, but just to keep a nice viewport, let's do some cleaning and let's start with straighten corners. It doesn't fix the smoothing issues, but it will help keep your corners clean and perfectly in line. And then what you can do is turn off smoothing. If you still have these dark areas like I do, the easiest way that you can apply is to put an edit poly modifier on top and select all the faces, and then go to smoothing groups and clear all the smoothing groups. Easy as that. And now we have no smoothing issues. Those other dark artifacts you see behind the faces or on faces is happening because faces are too close to each other, but you will not see them in your images, so don't worry about it. And it's just some kind of viewport shading issue, so it's really not that important. And one last thing, let's talk about what not to do. But before, let's copy it here to start from scratch to show Boolean. Boolean is a great modeling tool. It lets you combine shapes, merge shapes, subtract shapes, create concepts, create blockouts easily, and it's pretty fast. And if you know what to do and if you can do some cleanups, you can have great fast results with it. But it's not the most ideal way to create walls in a production environment. Let me show you. Let's, for the openings, first create a box, and like before, let's say 240. And then I will create another box for the wall. And also, I will create one more box just to demonstrate, just to have a bit more wall. Yes. Okay. And now, as we have these walls, although not merged yet, now we can create a Boolean compound object to merge these walls and subtract the other one. You can use Boolean or pro-Boolean, it doesn't really matter, but this time I'm going to use Boolean, and let's start by adding the walls together first. Then I will add another Boolean, I will subtract the other wall, and start. It may seem like this is the easiest and fastest way, and it's true, this is really fast and it's really easy, but it's not the most ideal way, as I said before, and I will show you why. Like we did before, if you want to have round edges, like with a chamfer, you will see how much of a problem it can cause just because we used Booleans. And also, there's a chance that you will see some smoothing issues or artifacts on the faces or around the edges if you try to edit later. Of course, with Booleans you can modify operands to change some things, but if you start using edit poly, or even worse, if you convert it to edit poly, it will be not editable anymore by playing around with operands. And also, there will be some missing edges, and there might be some additional faces remaining behind the faces you see. So you can't be sure without doing some additional checkups on the object. And it is, of course, time consuming. So it might look like it's the fastest option, and actually it is if you don't edit after you're done. And if you need to edit, you will see that it is consuming more time than any other methods just to fix these small issues. Alright, that's it for this video, and if you have any question, please leave a comment, I will try to reply. And if you have any suggestions for the future videos, please also leave a comment, I will try my best to create the video that you might need or might be useful for your workflow. Thank you for watching and have fun modeling.